to go back to your Twitter strategy just a bit. What was your thought process behind building the volcano emoji and memes? Weren't you afraid memes would ruin your brand image?
No, no, actually, okay, that's a really good question, and I can speak in a language for the animators here. The first one is your brand needs to be identifiable through some sort of symbolism or symbol instantly. If I give you the emoji of a volcano, we didn't want it to be dinosaurs. That would have been too obvious. Volcano kind of felt like a world. In Web3 right now, we're probably one of the we're considered like a tier one IP brand in Web3, which means we compete against, you might have heard like Bored Apes, there's Doodles, there's Azuki and Pudgy Penguins. Each of those brands have a symbol that is a talisman or representative of that brand. And it's an easy way to get your audience to kind of be an extra flywheel because when they use a volcano, they're signaling that they're talking about Claynosaurz. So that was like an important play. Memes. Whoever like leans into memes owns the world. We're seeing, even people like Elon lean heavy into memes. But if you look really, we believe in UGC, so user generated content is one of our biggest strategies. And it's really what it comes down to is allowing fans to uh to create their own fandom experience and find their niches and lean heavy into it. Probably the best example I can give you of a brand that has done that so well is SpongeBob. So,
It's true.
you had told me SpongeBob would be what it is today. Like 15 years ago, I would have been like bullshit. Like this thing, what is gonna last like 4 years or whatever. SpongeBob today is a mimetic superpower because fans take it and lean into a niche that they believe it represents. Squidward is someone that's just like, ugh, like a day in the life as an employee or a business owner or whatever. And that speaks to so many people. And there are millions of GIF views that lean into that. And each character in SpongeBob, the internet has made it their own, and that is an absolute flywheel superpower. But why is that important? It's because the brand, instead of being a brand that is just for kids and is a brand that is like boxed in by limitations, it's actually a brand that has so many different expressions, which means you can tap into a much more global audience
Mhm.
because to a certain, to the 35 plus year old man, for example, it's representative of this idea. To an 18-year-old to 20-year-old, certain demographics, it means something different. And so really it's about allowing people to make it their own. And and that's where the world is heading. Is like memes are such a powerful tool to express something that is hyper relatable in a way that's so hard to do in longer form content, right? It's kind of like an atomized, really powerful version of an idea.
Knowing also that you are very careful at the balance between short form content and memes.
Mhm.
Not everything that we do is meme related. There is a balance to be found. When you look at Instagram, the vignettes that we do, most of them are no
Yeah,
memes,
most of
right?
them are evergreen.
Evergreen
Yeah.
content and so on and so on. And I think it's finding the right balance because if the brand was all memes all the time, it would
Yeah.
create so much noise
Yeah.
and inconsistency that you wouldn't understand what Claynosaurz is as a brand,
Yeah.
right? So it's surfing on trends and making sure you generate visibility with those flashy little memes that will make people laugh, but at the same time rely on evergreen content to make sure the brand is understandable and successful in the long run.
It's an extra tool for familiarity and
Yeah.
proliferation. And another fun stat for SpongeBob, by the way, is kids today. That is to say, like the 9 to 14-year-old demographic. There was this like amazing stat I was looking up the other day, and there is a huge portion of those kids that consider themselves fans of SpongeBob. They know the lore. They consider themselves almost experts in the lore. They haven't seen a single
It's
episode,
yeah.
not one episode. Think about what that means. That means that they became fans through the atomized content or through the memes. They got familiar with the brand. They deep dove on something like Wikipedia, right? Before SpongeBob, but they didn't have the intent. Like
SpongeBob
they,
became culture.
they didn't need to consume the long form episodic to actually enjoy the brand and and for it to mean something to them. And I think that if you can leverage that, not leverage it, if you can foster that as a brand or and allow for it to happen, that is such a huge advantage in an ecosystem where competing against millions of minutes of content that is like happening on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram any given week, right? You're giving yourself an advantage. Another example, I know I talk a lot, but another example is My Little Pony. So My Little
Yeah.
Pony, they had this thing called the Bronies, and this was like dudes that were like super into My Little Pony, and they were
Oh,
making all
yes.
these like custom t-shirts. And we have advisors that come from Hasbro, and they were explaining like management at Hasbro was like initially was like had an allergic reaction to that. We can't we can't let My Little Pony turn into kind of this and it's kind of like against the narrative that we've built for My Little Pony. And then there was another side of the table that was like, no, like let that happen. Like this actually might
It's generating.
right? This might actually turn the brand into more than it was meant to be. Lo and behold, that part of My Little Pony is now $1 billion part of vertical of My Little Pony, the bronies. The point being is it became a meme, and that's okay because it doesn't take away from the linear track. Linear track is like what you as a company has said is canon. Okay, the TV show is canon, but comic books can be fun and can do whatever they want. Memes can be fun, and that's okay.
Yeah, in other words, don't take yourself too seriously.
Don't take yourself seriously. I think that's the
Exactly.
secret sauce. Be relatable is not the word I'm looking for. Be approachable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be
I think
approachable.
the SpongeBob example you gave, it's similar to Mr. Beast. Like a lot of people know who he is, but like me, for example,
Never seen a video.
I never see a video of him.
Yeah.
I only see
Yeah.
podcasts of him and people talking about him, but I don't care about his demographic is teens and kids. But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great analogy. I'm the same. It's like I haven't really watched any of his videos, but I feel like I know that brand pretty well.